This is a short presentation about reflection. So let's just say that you have a little project that you want to start. And so you make a plan, you locate the necessary materials and the necessary tools, and still things don't quite turn out the way you wish that they would. And so you ask yourself what went wrong. That question is a classic reflective question, although what went right is also a good reflective question. Reflection as a form of thinking typically takes up questions like these. When you do a project and something works, you wonder to yourself, why did this work when that other thing I tried did not? Or you ask yourself, what was it that I tried and what did I learn when I tried it? Because sometimes, when we start a project, we don't necessarily have a name for what we're actually doing. We just try something. So a reflective question might simply be, what did I try there? Another reflective question might be, what exactly happened? And how do I feel about what happened? And why do I feel that way? All reflective questions. And then finally, once you have sort of put your hands on what you think you know, or defined the experience and what went right and what went wrong, how does that fit in with what you used to know, or the way you thought about the project when you began it? Now, as college students, you may often be asked to not only think reflectively, but to take up a reflective essay as a form of writing. And when you write a reflective essay, there is typically some steps that you are going to take. One is to look back at what you did. What is it that you accomplished? What is it that you tried? What are the specific activities that you engaged in? And then to reconsider them. This is sometimes means to consider something that you thought of as a failure in light of what maybe you learned from it, or to think of something that was a success that later you came to feel a little less thrilled with in reconsidering it. Finally, a piece of reflective writing typically engages in a kind of self-evaluation. What was the gain and in the learning experience, what could you have gained it if you had tried this or that, and so on. Basically, you need to ask yourself when you're asked to do a piece of reflective writing, what aspects of your learning are you being asked to examine? And usually an assignment will give you hopefully at least hints, and maybe more than hints, hopefully specific requirements of things that you should consider in a reflective essay. John Dewey, who was one of the people who framed many of our ideas about reflective thinking, said in a book called How We Think, written in 1933, that reflective thought was characterized by active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge. This is a kind of belief or knowledge that you hold in the light of the grounds that support it, i.e., what leads you to feel that way about it or to believe something, and the further conclusions to which it tends. That is, where are those beliefs going to take you? Now, in terms of writing reflective essays, this means that you should try to connect the new things that you know and have experienced to your old ways of thinking about things. Reflective writing should lead you to evaluate your experience, what was good and bad, to cite details to support your evaluation, the specifics of your learning experience, what you tried and what you didn't try, and hopefully a piece of reflective writing will help you figure out what was meaningful in the experience to you.